a lot of updated TV. I watch my favorite YouTube shows. I honestly have been big YouTube lately. I've also been listening to like sleep meditations that are very hypnotic and soothing. That's I've been putting a lot of time in on Louise Hay and just stuff that like helps me go to sleep. So that's honestly it. Earlier today, my niece has been watching this mafia documentary on Netflix, so I've been in and out of that if she's watching it. And I haven't even caught up on Gen V yet because I was so pumped about Peacemaker and trying to get to that, and I've not had time to watch a lot of TV this week. What about you? I actually have something else to say, but it's not about what I've been watching. So tell me what you've been watching.
Uh, I don't think I caught up on anything. I wonder why I keep saying I'm going to watch Alien Earth and then I don't do it. Um,
Keep saying you're going to go to the movies and you don't do it.
yeah, I haven't gone to the movies either. Um,
Come on, guy.
all I've watched was Gen V and Peacemaker. YouTube. That's it.
Sucks.
I haven't really watched anything.
Yeah, we suck. We gotta get that together. That's like a big thing, I think. Wow. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. It is indeed 10 p.m., but I have not yawned all day. That's how boring this show is. No, I'm pushing through. I've been actually very tired lately, so that's also a part of it. I promise to watch more stuff this week and then tell you guys how that goes. Because usually, like, oh, you know what happened is I boycotted Disney Hulu, and so that stopped my whole Marvel rewatch. Like that put a big halt into everything. So I'm trying to find something else to go and binge into, and I have a couple of Netflix shows I never finished, so I probably should do that soon. But like for some reason, it makes my brain feel better to say like, oh, I won't commit to a whole movie, but then I can watch like 4 30-minute videos back to back, and that's basically a movie. So we'll see. But I am definitely gonna go. Oh, you know what? I had a lot of work stuff this week. That's what it was. Um, and a film I did see today, a documentary, was The Lions Winning. That was exciting. And I will be going to see One Battle After Another on Tuesday. And you said you watched that already?
So what is that?
I'm about to say if you had watched that and didn't go see everything else, I would be so mad. It's people are saying it's the best movie of the year. People are saying it's the best movie of the year. That what's his name? Who whatever the guy is, he's like one of the big guys people glaze over. Leo's in it. Tiana Taylor is in it, and apparently Tiana Taylor and Leo DiCaprio have been friends for a long time. Just some Hollywood craziness. Regina Hall is in it, and people are saying it's the best. Oh, Sean Penn. People are saying it's the best movie. It's better than Sinners. Which, okay, let's see. Let's see.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to get to watching some more stuff this week. I got to for my mental health. So that'll be good for me. But I am super excited to talk about this episode of
Well, before we
Peacemaker.
do that, I want to suggest a new segment called "We Was Concerned," and I just want to acknowledge that there's wild stuff happening in the world. Like there were 4 mass pew pews today. Today, so like we're like fully in decline, guys. Just wanted to acknowledge that. I think it's great to have a chance to get your mind off things, but I cannot do it without acknowledging that we're in the bad place. But in good news, Bad Bunny will be headlining your Super Bowl this year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we'll get to see the Lions versus the Eagles and Bad Bunny.
The
And
Lions
it
and the
was going to be a
Eagles
great
can't play in the Super Bowl.
because because we're in the same division as the Eagles. Okay, then we're gonna play the Rams.
They can't play in the
Lions.
Super Bowl either.
They're also in the same league. NFC. They're not in the NFC.
They are in the NFC.
What is it? NFC North and NFC and AFC are the different things.
Mm-hmm.
So the North, East, West, South, whatever, got to play against each other, and then the AFC winners play against
Correct.
the NFC winners. That's some
Bingo.
bullshit.
You got it.
Who's a good AFC? Is it Steelers, NFC, or AFC?
Steelers are AFC.
Okay, so Steelers Lions, which I think you would lose a lot of money on that parlay, but maybe go with me. And Bad Bunny's going to perform. If you guys have Duolingo, is great for you guys to start catching up. I think this is very important for uh, my Latinos in our community. So I'm definitely supportive of this. Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. So that's bad news, good news in the world today.
All right,
That's all I got.
I'm super excited, like I said, and I prefer not to do the bad news because mental health. But
hey guys, we're living. But we're gonna ground it in goodness.
I'm excited to talk about this episode because it was not only a great episode, but
here we go.
I have never been more right ever on this entire show. I can't think of a time anybody, either you or me, you've been right many times on this show, but I can't think of a time you or me have been more right than this. From a very little paying attention to the show in episode 1, that I thought, maybe I'm just saying this in this bullshit, to actually being true. 6 episodes later, I feel so vindicated. I can't even.
I mean, vindicated is like a crazy word because you're suggesting that like anyone had a concern.
You didn't really believe me. You made a joke about it.
No, I see. Here's the thing: when you pull out things that I don't know, all I can do is just like react and believe you, because like Earth X is not in my wheelhouse for me to be able to,
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Obviously, you don't read the book, so I don't expect you. But I'm saying, I didn't know it was Earth X wasn't my idea, right? I said I noticed that there wasn't any white people.
Somebody else said it. Yeah.
I said I noticed that there wasn't any white people, and I looked it up, and other people were saying that they think it might be Earth X. But I did notice that it was no white. I mean, it was only white people. You had
noticed that, or was it like somebody else said it and you were like, oh yeah, they're right?
No, I noticed that there was only white people there, and then, but I didn't put that and Earth X together. Those weren't 2 and 2. Earth X coming up was me seeing, when I looked it up, and I was like, did anybody? I was like, I typed in only white people in Peacemaker, and then other people were saying, I think it's Earth X.
I was acting like Chris. I was just happy to be there. Like I had noticed it a little bit. I would have eventually looked around, but I was just so caught up in what was happening that
well, see, Chanel, you have to know, we're in this woke time, right? So there would never be a show where it's just white people unless it was done on purpose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We would have token black and brown people just because they meet the quota.
But what was happening? Okay, but what was happening was that I was just watching what he was doing so much that I just didn't notice. Like it wasn't. Like I just didn't notice. And I think we had this whole conversation where I said like a whole nother movie would have been I would have been like, what the heck? But this, I guess the point I'm trying to say is this show is so fascinating that you're going into this new dimension and you don't have time to like notice if the baseboards are there or not. You're like, bro, what is happening now? So that's what happened to me. I got caught up in the Matrix and I missed out on that. So great call for those who knew it was Earth X. Happy for you. Or condolences, whichever one fits, you celebrating being right. Yeah, I mean, we had a great episode. What other thoughts do you have about it before we get into the deets?
No, I'm ready to go. By the way, Chanel took notes this episode. I didn't take any notes. None. I did get, Chanel asked me for 1 video clip. I did add 2 more that I wanted to talk about. So we have 3 video clips. But Chanel took the notes, and so I'm excited to see how her mind works in reviewing the show. So are you ready to get into the recap?
Yeah. Why are you saying that like I've never done notes before? You mean for this particular show?
It's been like 2 years since the last time you did notes.
That long?
It has been that long.
Well, okay. Well, I guess we'll see. So
I wasn't saying it as a pejorative. I was just saying.
I know you are. I'm just saying like it's as if you don't remember. So, but I guess it has been a while. So what the show told me would be relevant this episode in the recap was that if we remember from last episode.
Hold on, I didn't play the thing. Slow down.
Oh
Slow down.
yeah, you're right.
Slow down.
Once upon a time in the projects, yo.
Okay.
So thank you for that. As you remember from last episode, episode 5, Frank beat up Chris. Vigilante. Oh, I just noted that it was Vigilante's voice doing it previously, and I like that they're taking him seriously as he's a character in this cast. Harcourt took out Chris to save his life. Economos saved Chris by putting him in the system, and then we see Peacemaker asking Eagly, "You ready for the next adventure, pal?" And they go off and close the portal behind them, portal stuff, whatever. So that's bringing us up to speed from last episode. If you have not seen it, go back and watch our last recap and get caught up. So we open to them in what I can only assume to be a Cracker Barrel, and they're all eating. And August, who is in his blue dragon, and by the way, Blue Dragon's in his outfit. I don't know what Keith's outfit is called. Peacemaker's in his stuff. Harcourt's in her silk shirt, and they're covered in shit. They're just at the restaurant. They didn't bother to clean up. I don't know if you noticed that. And he goes, "Toast to my goofball son, Crisper." So they're having a nice little moment. And a white family is like nervous. They ask Mr. Blue Dragon for a selfie, but it's an Ussie. And Amelia, this is when I first noticed on my rewatch that she does have on silk and a skirt and a serious belt. And that's pretty much her uniform. And so they take the photo. It's like a cute little family moment, all white, cute little family moment. And then the transition for this scene is their faces melting. I don't know if that was relevant or not, or just like a fun effect.
Yeah,
but
it was there to show you that like this ain't what it appears to be.
Something
things,
to that effect. Yeah, so like the faces melted and that merged into our intro music. This time around, I noticed a new lady, and I don't know if it's Mandela effect. I don't know if she was always there, but I noticed Vigilante's mom this time around, and I just do not remember if she's ever been there before. So
did you notice the other
that is
thing?
Always fun. In the intro?
In the intro?
No.
So Peacemaker, this is a visual medium, but Chanel will describe this for the podcast listeners. So Peacemaker is doing a dance, right? All right. And in his dance, he goes like this.
He's doing a robot.
No. Look at my hand.
He's doing signals with the... Oh, you think he's doing Heil?
No. What?
Oh, he's doing a swastika.
Swastika.
If you pay attention, he's doing a swastika with his arms. Wow. Is he always been doing that?
Yeah, I went back and looked. He's done it the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, okay, we're Easter egging here. You know,
hey, Easter egging in their own show. Yeah.
So, okay, so we're in this episode, we will be on our Earth, and then I'll call it alternative Earth, but we start on our Earth, and they're in front of Vigilante's house. As we know, they're trying to find a place to set up the boom shakalaka so they can open up the other dimension and go get Chris. And so they figure this is the best place to hide from Argus because he's not on anyone's records, which is actually true. Like he's the one, he's like the wild card in this equation because he's not on their radar at all. And so Adebayo's like, "Hey, Harcourt, are you sure you don't want your job back? Like, it could be so easy to just walk in there and give the thing to them." Oh shit, let me plug my computer. And I thought I had already plugged it in. And she's like, "Yep, let's just do it before I forget." Economos is basically like, "Yeah, I guess if y'all peer pressure me, I'll go." What did you think about Economos being so anti?
Well, he's scared of everything. By the way, Kobe, thanks for the comment. Hope y'all have a great show. I gotta listen later on. No problem. We appreciate you checking in.
See you soon.
But no, Economos is scared of everything. He's my favorite character on this show because he's so relatable. Because I can understand why someone in a world like the DC universe with superheroes and superpowers, and you work in that space, would be like, "Yeah, dude, let me just sit at my desk, right? And do the shit that I'm good at. I don't want to be out in the field." You notice he don't ever want to be out in the field. And they keep trying to put that man out in the field. And this is just another way of being out in the field. But not only are you out in the field, you are in another universe potentially out in the field. He wants no parts of that. And based on what happens later on in the episode, which we'll get to, he was justified.
Now that's valid, but like The thing is, he doesn't explain it in like in a strong argument where we should all stop and think about it. He's just being anti. And to be honest with you, I know why he's your favorite, but in the crew, I don't need a naysayer all day and all night. Okay, don't get in the car in the first place. Stay behind at the hotel if you're gonna yap the whole time. Like, he's just being a little bit annoying, but it's okay. Because we know who he's there for and he is important to the group. So he goes, yeah, basically y'all are peer pressuring me, and Vigilante warns us that his mom is the worst. And when they walk in,
she was kind of the worst.
When they walk in, she's the sweetest little lady. Literally,
that's what you call that sweet.
Yes, she was for who he is and how he talks to her. Are you joking?
She was annoying as hell. Telling all his business.
Annoying. She wasn't
following
annoying.
them.
Okay. No. We've talked about who Vigilante is. And you know that when kids go out in the world, who they are is only a fraction of who they are at home. So you know for a fact that he's been asking her, quiz me about Veggie Tales, ask me about gay dads. Like, he's been doing that to her all of their lives, and she's been there for him, put a roof over his head, don't ask him no questions about what's in the basement. When he's carrying down reinforced steel and building stuff down there, she don't ask no questions. All she wants to do is meet his little friends when they come by. He comes home every day clearly and tells them and describes who they are. All she wants to do is say hi. She's not being that annoying. By the way, you're acting crazy because if you came in with a bunch of people in your mama's house and was like, hey mom, leave me alone, would your mother be like, okay, yeah, see you later? Or would she have a couple questions?
He was like, I got really important business to take care of in my
No, that's not
in
what
my
he said.
room.
He came in and said, fuck off, mom, immediately.
He said, I'm going to my room. What did he call it? My secret room. So she's supposed to know. Oh, this is a secret room. Okay. By the way, we'll find this out later, but that man got enough money that he don't gotta be living with his mama.
How you got a secret room and I'm paying the mortgage? That doesn't make sense. So I'm telling you right now, Vigilante is not working for me. But anyway, she's excited because she's like, he never brings friends home. One time his D&D group was too small and I became a 40th level cut purse. So that shows me she's interested in his things. She doesn't make fun of him. She's there for him. She calls Harcourt hardcore, which and she's like, no, I'm pretty sure that's what they call you.
That's what Chanel called her.
Bitch is like,
the first.
Bitch is like, hey, that would have been a good one. No, he says out loud, does anyone have a mom who's a effing tick on your all the time? That is very disrespectful.
Since when did you start censoring yourself?
Because I want to be able to put this video out, and I'm trying to censor for the clips. I want to be able to go viral and not feel guilty, not feel like I'm just sick. Because that was a crazy line to say to his mama.
I mean, all he wanted to do was hang out with his friends in his special room, and this woman's nagging him to death.
That's okay. That's where you're going. I mean, if it was not Vigilante, valid, but because we know Vigilante is, no way. Like, he needs to be glad somebody gives him a place to lay his head.
He called Harcourt a slut.
Let me tell you the context for those who didn't watch. She apologizes for Adrian to Harcourt, and she's like, hey, I'm just so excited he had a girlfriend, and I don't think being too slutty is any reason to break up. It's a new era. People have the porn on their phone now. They can't help but be slutty, and it's up. And let me tell you why she's so far ahead of her time. Vigilante's mom says it's up to a mature man to teach his partner about how making love can be a way to connect. That's the best way to handle, mom, I'm dating a girl, but she's kind of slutty. That's a very sex positive way to turn that around.
We made ahead of her time. It's 2025. She's in her time.
But I'm saying for her being a mom, like for her being an older woman, a woman of a certain age, she's designing women age, older than that. She's Golden Girls age.
She's what?
Right? Like, she's doing pretty good. Golden Girls
designing
age.
Women?
You remember that show?
No, what the hell is that?
I think they were younger than that. It's an old show.
Oh.
Arsenio Hall was a guest on it. But she's giving one of those not old. I'm not trying to be mean to women. She's giving one of those like moms who
old
are fun.
It's not a pejorative unless you make it one.
It's not, but I think it's but I don't know how much older than me she actually is, so I don't want to keep acting like
old enough to be your mama. She's clearly old enough to be your mama.
Potentially. And but I don't know. Everybody ages differently. So anyway, just like how I thought Frank was 35 years old and that man is 65, not, damn near 70. But she is I like her. She goes, okay, you know what? These lovers' quarrels are none of my beeswax. Let me go make some sandwiches. And so Vigilante said,
no, she said that. She said sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she said sandwiches.
That's what I'm saying. She's a cute little woman.
Okay.
She's making him sandwiches after you just cussed her out. So Vigilante goes, oh man, don't mind her. She has dementia. Sorry, she has dementia. Because sometimes and mind you, the reason why it's funny is because the mom is so coherent. Like, and he goes, sometimes I have to hide and make stuff up because of the superhero stuff. Like I have to make up a backstory. Mind you, Harcourt being his girlfriend is not the backstory. He could have made it out of bio, but whatever. So he has to, because that would have made more sense, like to say that the sapphic woman is your lover, and then you have to go out and then you could just lie around that versus like the woman Chris likes. Anyway, she goes, well, so you had to tell her I was a slut, and he goes, I had to base it in truth. That made me laugh.
That's why I like Vigilante. He be telling them the truth.
I don't dislike Vigilante.
Last episode, he had to tell Adebayo, it's okay if you want to be a sex worker. I'm not judging you.
That's not what he said.
That's what he said.
He said, I am judging, but I just won't kill you. That's what he said.
No, he didn't say that.
Don't do it, but I will kill everyone involved. Okay. So they go to Vigilante's lair, and this man has it's beyond, what's the movie? Scarface. It's double Scarface. He has kilos of cocaine and cash everywhere. They're like, what's happening? Why are there drugs and hard cold cash in your basement? I'm talking about like a lot, like more than the regular prison like holding cell. And then he says, well, if I give it to the cops, they might steal it because they're corrupt. And or they might just use it. And Adebayo's like, Adrian, you asked me to pay for breakfast last week. He said, he's like, because I'm broke. Like, this is blood money. Are you crazy? And so as he bends down to get dressed behind like a stack of cocaine, all three of them start stuffing money into their clothes. Because when you think about what's happening outside of this scene, all three of them need money. That's the issue that's happening right now. They need a job. They need money. Yes. They want to do the right thing, but they're struggling. Well, Harcourt has like her water's about to get cut off. And this man,
I think when they come back, they're actually going to start Adebayo's security agency, but for real. And they're going to use Adrian's money to do it. And they're all going to be doing it. So they're all going to be out of Argus and they're going to start their own agency. Using his funding.
Well, let's be clear. Economos is not going to be able to go back to Argus, so I definitely get that. Clearly, so is Harcourt's not. And then, I mean, at the very least, I think they should take some of that money and pay some bills. That's what I need to see next. Like, if the next episode is just me watching them and they're on hold calling AT&T to get their phone reconnected, I'll take it, because I just am so like the whole argument we had about the debate we had about Economos and like if he should stand up or not was that he can't afford to pay his bills. And here we go. Now he can afford to pay his bills, take that little blood drug money, do your thing. So, but if you watched it, then you probably agree one of the funnier moments was them all trying to hurry up and get the money in their pants before he looked. So they go to opening closet, and it is Vigilante's Beanie Baby closet. And we find that Ostrich or Stretch is his favorite Beanie Baby. And I don't know if just the little things you notice, but they cut to Economos. He's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, honestly, no, it's not. But okay. Like this, I'm like, I don't know if that's James Gunn, like his favorite thing, and he wrote it in. Like, I don't know who that's a nod to, but it's definitely one of the random Vigilante things. So they, good thing that Adebayo is paying attention to Chris because she does a boom shaka blast. But we all could have guessed that because of that, all the cocaine spills onto all of them. So they're all covered in cocaine. And as they're going into the room, as they're going into the portal, Economos is like, why don't you flush your drugs like a normal person? And he says, because he's concerned about the alligators in the sewer.
Oh, hold on. Janelle asked me for this clip, but I got a little bit longer version of the clip because I thought that part was funny. So I'm going to switch over, and here we go.
Why can't you fucking flush your drugs down the toilet like a normal person?
Because of the alligators in the sewer system, you callous piece of shit.
What?
Oh my God.
It's just the addiction epidemic facing the country.
This is what I'm saying. Imagine that's your child.
I mean, he cares about the alligators.
That what alligators?
The alligators in the sewer system.
Please press play. I'm not playing with you.
Is it bad enough? He also wants the alligators in the sewers to be junkies.
You're a moron.
What the fuck does that have to do with alligators?
Exactly. I'm team vigilante here.
I don't like joking around like this. Like, let's stop, because right now there's no such thing as truth. So we agree that vigilante's funny, but also there are no alligators in the sewer.
There are alligators in the sewer.
Oh my god. Okay.
Look it up.
Okay, thank you. I'll look it up.
It's in the New York Times.
Economos looks like a ghost, by the way. Like, he's literally covered in cocaine.
Speaking of which, does anyone want to quiz me on alligator facts?
No!
That seemed rehearsed.
This is unbelievable.
Okay, how about I just spit out alligator facts until there's one you know, and then whoever knows it takes over?
No.
See?
Okay,
he
hold
took
on.
your. Now you gonna get mad at him for taking your advice?
If you listen to the last episode, I was like, the way he goes about these animal facts thing is pissing me off. Like, why not just say the 3 things you know about the animal and move on? And he finally does it. I literally wrote in my notes, finally. But I love the idea that he goes, I'll start, and when I pick up on something that you like, you go next. And it's like, nobody here was thinking about alligators before you brought them up. That's the part he's not deep in that. And then I don't know if you, oh yeah, you're gonna play the rest of it, so I'll let you keep going.
Oh, Adrian, stop it. Come on.
How could Chris not tell us about any of this?
He said it was like me being Methodist.
Huh?
It was so normal to him. He grew up with it, so he didn't think twice about it.
Alligators have 4 stomachs.
That's cows.
Which the funniest part is Economos knows the actual fact every time he's wrong. That's what's like, Economos is, I do get why he's your favorite, because like Vigilante is so wrong. He's like a teenager. It's like, I don't know if you have teens in your life, but teens and kids will argue with you about stuff that you know is true. But the confidence with which they say it will make you so mad that you feel the need to correct them. That's this dynamic.
Fucking Christ.
Hi.
Don't wave at it.
Why? I'm being friendly.
You don't know what waving means to that thing. Peace sign
Excellent point.
means fuck you in England, and we speak the same fucking language.
It means up yours, not fuck you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be sure and point out the nuances to the xenomorph over there after he rips your head off for telling him his favorite son should die, because that's what fucking waving means. What are you fucking doing?
Oh, waving means your favorite son should die?
No.
That's such a simple gesture to mean something so complicated that you'll hardly ever say.
How do we know where Chris went?
He said there was a lock on the door like the one
That
back
is
for
extremely
Radical
stupid.
Peacemaker helmets. We just need to look for that.
Why can't you
There you go.
I enjoyed the wave of it all, because he's right. Like, it did make me think for a second. Like, we do speak the same language as a British, so the idea that like a wave can be, or a peace sign is those 2 things was, again, I'm like, I don't know if this is James Gunn being autistic and he's just sharing all these different facts or what's going on here, but I am enjoying it. So they and we get to see the alien again. He's throwing away something else. Who the freak knows what he's doing? And eventually, I hope we get to see what he's doing. But would it be funnier to you if we never know what that is? Like, that just is a thing that happens?
Unfortunately, I listened to the official podcast
Why?
after
It's
the
gonna
show,
influence you.
and no, I just listened to it for what James Gunn has to say about the bigger universe. And he said that the alien is just something funny that he wanted to do. And there's not going to be
He's
any big,
trolling.
it's not going to be any big reveal with the alien.
He needs to write it in. Okay, so now we're back at Argus. We're still on this Earth, and LaFleur is telling Frank or slash RJ Senior, Rick Flag, RF Senior, RFS. He's telling RFS that everybody's off the map. Judo Master's not checking in. Like, they don't know where Chris went. They don't know where I think that was, they don't know where Economos is. He took a sick day. And he says this thing again. He says, I don't think you understand how important finding Peacemaker is to the United States, to the world. And to this day, I don't know if he's saying that to himself to convince himself, or if it's true and we're missing something. And so LaFleur's like, and
It's
so
both.
LaFleur's
He's clearly
like,
selfish,
it's both.
and he's clearly selfish and wants revenge on Chris. But in Superman, he was obviously concerned, and we find out later this episode, he's clearly concerned about these dimensional portals. So he does want to, at least figure out what the hell it is and try to stop it. But he's using that as
Was
an
he in
excuse
Superman?
for his revenge. Yeah, he was in Superman.
Missed
Lex
that.
Luthor went and met with him. If you remember, he went and met with the government people. Rick Flag Sr. was one of those people when Luthor was trying to convince him that we need to do something about these superpower people.
Oh, good for them. Okay, they said that they've been playing in this. So LaFleur is like, hey, well, I don't know about what this is, but I'm a cop, so should we put out an APB? Like, if you're actually looking for him? And he goes, give me a second to think. And so LaFleur comes and sits across from him and and goes, he puts his hands together, his fingers pointed out, and goes, and he's like, are you kidding me? I don't want you to think looking across from me. And so it's a very comedic scene where Tim Meadows does the timing very well. And basically, I think there's clearly some discord within Argus because he's still confiding in Cy Bordeaux, but not in LaFleur. And so
Wow.
I think that's what we said last week.
Okay.
And then he charters a jet to Belle Reve, which we know is a meta prison. We've heard of it before, even in this show, because that is where Economos used to work. So now we're in the pocket dimension. Again, they put the boom shakalaka, the boom cat. They walk through it. They're in the pocket dimension. They're in the co-working space. And they find the Peacemaker helmets, and Vigilante just happens to know his dad's code. So perfect. Now they are in our crew. The 11th Street kids are now in the alternate dimension. So in this other Earth for the rest of the episode. The only time, actually, now we're going to get Argus in both dimensions. But when we talk about them from now on, they're in the other Earth. They enter Peacemaker's trophy room that we've seen many times before and immediately see the appeal. Like they see top of the town, and Economos says, reverse Peacemaker's rolling in it. And this is the second time Vigilante mentions that he wants to find himself in the multiverse. He says, I bet me and Peacemaker being best friends is a constant across the multiverse. So he's putting that out there. We'll see. And they go into his bedroom and Keith comes in. No, sorry, before that, Harcourt sees the photo of her and Peacemaker and says it was creepy. And then here comes Keith. Yeah, because honestly, I guess I have to ask, like, how did you feel? Not if you were Harcourt, but in general. If you're on this mission and you find out there's one of you and their person is opposite. Yeah. It'd
be quite weird.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's like finding out you have a twin. I'd be like, it's not for me. So Keith walks in and goes, so the good news is the person standing in the middle of the room is the person Keith knows. So he goes, oh, what are you doing here, Amelia? And she goes, oh, sorry, I just took a shit in there. It's rancid. Which, pause. Because if you have been tracking the type of person Amelia acts like in this universe, she's definitely giving off weird vibes. But Keith is probably so misogynist. He's just like, oh, look at women. They're crazy. So she can get a couple of these off without him like overreacting. She uses a snow globe as an excuse for why she's not yet at Argus. And we come to find out that snow globe is something that Chris's mother gave to him on his deathbed. And she says like, oh, he wants to put it on my desk at work. So again, another reason why Keith should be suspicious, but he is not. I don't know if you're paying attention to the background, but during the scene, I noticed, besides like the Scorpions photo, there's a marble bust of Peacemaker. Like he just has statues of himself everywhere.
I didn't see that.
And then Vigilante's messing around the closet and he finds one of those, I cannot describe it, one of those white hats that like the mobsters would wear. He's just playing around with stuff. And I'm like, why does Peacemaker have that one?
Well, you see how he's been dressing.
But why does he have an Al Capone hat? And so they're basically, while she's talking to Keith, she can see Adebayo and Vigilante in the closet, and they're trying to tell her, like, cut it out, don't lie, don't make up extra facts. And she keeps doing that, getting herself deeper into whatever lies she's telling. Economos is locked in the bathroom. And so he's like, well, I thought you were going to go to Argus. She's like, no, I had to come pick up the snow globe. So he's like, well, I'll give you a ride. And they're like, no, don't do it. She goes, yes. And honestly, that's what I would do too. She's like, I need to get to Argus. I need to talk to Chris. This is like, if we think about it, how much faster did she get to Chris than if they had stayed at home and waited, right? And And then as they're walking out, again, third strike, Keith goes, I've never seen you wear black or pants. And she says, what am I, always in my fucking underwear? And he's like, you're so weird. You guys are so weird. And I'm like, again, if a complete tonal shift happened and I found you in my house, I feel like I would be a little bit more suspicious. But I do think that one of the dangers of racism is misogyny. And misogyny like seems harmless, but it's also like, it's also him not taking her seriously whatsoever as a person, and therefore not being concerned about her being completely different. So after they leave, Economos comes out and is like, who the fuck was that? And he's like, oh, it's Keith, his dead brother. He starts gagging. Instead of him like being like, oh no, or like freaking out, he like starts gagging as if he smells something bad. And she's like, don't throw up. Why is that making you throw up? And he's like, this is a normal reaction. Mind you, it's not. Like, he's actually gagging like as if he's literally about to gag and throw up
so weird.
Over news. Yeah, it was such an Economos thing to do. And so like you said, he don't want to be in the field for these reasons. And Vigilante goes, well, I thought it was neat to meet someone dead. And she's like, that's also bad. So then they start going back and forth because all Vigilante wants to do is find his doppelganger, find himself in this universe. And it's so funny because I put JE for John Economos and I want to call him Jagged Edge. So Jagged Edge is like, let's turn back. And Vigilante's like, let's divide and conquer. And so then Adebayo is like, listen, you were crying about, this is why Vigilante pisses me off, number 2. She goes, you were crying about Chris and you were on my shoulder. And she goes, oh, you was the one crying. And I'm like, bro, you were literally bawling your eyes out. It made me so mad that he can't.
He was just giving her,
but
he was just giving her comfort. That's all.
But it shows up as gaslighting. And so she's basically just saying, why are you so quick to forget about Chris and why we came here and talk about going to find your person? Like, we need to stay focused. And he goes, well, let's just stay here. And she was like, that's quite a left turn. And he says, honestly, they have manta rays and crows. I'm good to go. Like, the Eagle is here. Peacemaker's here. I'm here with another vigilante. And mind you, with what we find out by the end of the episode, if all other things were equal, him and the other vigilante would have a long life together. They would be each other's best friends to the depth. So I'm not even mad at him. Like, he knows himself. I don't know if you watch do you watch with the captions on?
Sometimes. Not this week.
So throughout this episode, the playlist, the music was like the fake bands. So like the next song that comes on is called Forever and One by Halloween, which I don't know. Like, I'm sure there's somebody's like some Bob Dylan song or something that is like supposed to remind you of that I don't know. So if anyone knows like what band they're kind of like showing us like or mimicking, let me know. But they're in the car. They're in the F-150. Of course, he drives a pickup. And Keith is taking our Harcourt to Argus' office. And she just she's just looking around. She's looking at the window. She's noticing something don't feel right. She's being suspicious. And he starts asking her if she prefers Halloween or the Beatles. And he's like, the Beatles, Mick, Paul, George, and Ringo. And she's like, Mick? He goes, Mick Jagger? And she's like, wow. Oh, yeah, of course I should have known that. And so we see these funny, like, again, if this was just a parallel universe and it would be cute little parallels, this would all be acceptable. But in this world, Mick Jagger is a Beatle. And he says, wow, you spent all those years in books. You don't think anything about pop culture. You don't know anything about pop culture or trivia. You should class this up. Huh?
Typical.
I mean, what I don't like about this, though, again, is like he's downing her. He's basically saying, you're just a nerd. Like, you don't know anything. It's just so easy for him to down talk her. And I'm not saying that Keith. Okay, let me say it this way. Keith in our world would probably be a cool guy. Maybe he wouldn't be. But even if he did grow up in our world, he would definitely be a better guy than this guy. And I think it's one of those things where the appearances are soft on the outside, but when you get into the morals, it's not there. And I've talked about this at some point in our 100+ episodes about like families like that in really less diverse and more like homogeneous areas where I grew up, where it's like they have all the right family values, but like only for their family. That's kind of what it's giving. And so we see him for a minute. Like, Chris has this whole scene where he wakes up with their Harcourt and they're all sweet. And then as she's showering and he's shaving, getting ready to go to Argus, the sound distorts just for a moment. And then we see Vigilante. He's walking down the street and a car comes by. Now, mind you, he doesn't have to hide. No one's looking for him. But instead of sidestepping into a huge bush, he does a hero dive. And I don't even know why they put that in. That just was
him being silly, which I love.
Exactly.
But I actually have the rest of the scene of him seeing his house because this was one of the funniest. This is one of the funniest scenes of this entire show.
Okay, wait. Yeah, it is. It is. Wait, hold on. We're not there yet. So, Peacemaker is, by the way, we cut to Peacemaker taking a Peacemobile to Argus. When Keith and Harcourt enter Argus, the police sniffing dogs flag the cocaine on her coat, which is like interesting because, again, they built this in to save a problem later. But the cocaine
you skipped
creates
one
the
thing
issue.
really quick. When Peacemaker left this version, this New Earth version of Harcourt, she says, go ahead and go into Argus when she's in the shower.
Yeah, I'll be there later.
I got something to take care of. Okay. My buddy, Old Man Wade from the Old Man Wade show, was
here we
talking
go.
to him. We were texting each other.
I know what you're going to say.
He told me, he wanted me to tell his theory on the show. He thinks, I think he wrote an article about it too in Band Smack Pow. He's a writer. He thinks that Harcourt of that universe is actually secretly in the Sons of Liberty. That's his
it
theory.
would make sense. It would make sense, but
And she's a double agent.
I feel, but she's not. She'd be one of the best double agents in the world. It would make sense, like just in how you write things would make sense, conflict wise. But the way that she even played it with the breakup though wasn't giving double agent. Like it was giving like, you cheated on me and you're a dick. I could see her being a Sons of Liberty. I could see any rational person being that, but she seems like really dignitized. So I would be really confused if she was. But again, I don't know. Maybe the whole time she's a badass. But also the way she came in at the very end of the episode is the only reason why I don't believe it, because it was very Karen. So okay, sorry. So before we get to this scene though, they're entering Argus and the cocaine, like I said, was on her coat. I think what is really interesting again is like all that cocaine and all that money will save a lot of problems back in our universe. But in this universe, it's like a setup for this random thing that happens, which sets them up to have a great conversation in a holding room, which is like they wrote in a really smart way for Harcourt and Chris to have a moment alone without it being like random and stupid. And so they take her into custody and she's like, fucking Adrian. And then a guy who, mind you, knows Harcourt to be, again, she wears silk and she wears a skirt and a big buckle. And he goes, I'm so sorry about this Harcourt. I'll just take the snow globe. She has shove it up your ass. And I'm like, no one's clocking that she's not the same. Like the way she's acting is, it makes me realize how normal she is to me, because in this universe, she stands out so much more, but her doing that in our universe is like, yeah, of course. And so what's interesting is that Chris sees her just as he's entering and realizes, obviously, that's not this Harcourt, that's my Harcourt. And the last note I have before you share Vigilante is that her makeup is tea. Whoever did Harcourt's makeup this episode, that's how I want my makeup to look. So that was great.
This episode, this scene of Vigilante, as Chanel was saying, he's in the neighborhood and he sees his house and he starts to go through his house. This is one of the funniest scenes of this entire show. I swear I watched this 3 times.
He's so funny. Knowing he's British makes it crazier because it's like you don't even think this is funny in real life. And his little things, like just the joy, his actual joy is so cute. He's cracking the fuck up at all the little differences.
What? Who are you guys? No.
He sees stuff on the lawn.
You're a chipmunk in my world.
He sees a chipmunk.
He sees a squirrel.
Oh my god.
But it's a chipmunk in his world.
And the chipmunk.
That was a squirrel.
What's a difference? There has to be a difference.
What is this? Did I make you? You're supposed to be a snake, not a dragon. What? There's supposed to be 3, where there's 6. What does 6 cats have to talk about?
What do 6 cats have to talk about? It's such a great line.
Damn, you're right. That was a squirrel.
Oh my god, what the fuck is this? Oh.
The Cheerios has a dash and an H after the O, and he's losing his mind.
Yes, Cheery O's.
They spell it just a little differently. Oh my god, it's amazing. Oh, I'm keeping this shit.
I can't lie, that's what would get me. That right there would be my thing.
My dad's not gay here.
So that was part of season 1. Peacemaker makes fun of him for his dad leaving his family because they found out he had a secret gay lover. And he's like, that's not gay here.
not even saying it like, oh, see, here's the thing. And if this was Chris, because Chris obviously has some deeper traumas, he'd be like, oh my God, I got to stay here forever. In this instance, he just thinks it's hilarious. He's like, look at all the cute little differences. Mind you, he's just walking through these people's house, laughing out loud, not being quiet whatsoever. But honestly, I should have seen this coming. Brandon, I should have seen this coming the more I think about it. Because everyone's the opposite. And Vigilante is so annoying and kills Johns and busts up drug rings. He would be the opposite. I should have seen this coming. I just thought, I was scared that he would be a worse person in this universe.
No way.
So Vigilante is like hype because his keys are
you
working
kidding
in this lock in the alternate world. Like all 3 keys, he went 3 for 3 with keys.
Unbelievable.
Okay, hold on. So the music changes because, mind you, when Peacemaker met his Peacemaker, he immediately was like, oh, I don't know who you are. You might be an alien. You might be a shapeshifter. You might be what's some green things?
A scroll.
You might be a scroll. Thank you, because I was gonna mess it up. He's like, but you know what? I'm gonna just whip your ass and we just gonna fight this out. Like Peacemaker, other Peacemaker wouldn't take no for an answer. He wouldn't stop and talk, nothing. That's how he died. This Vigilante is walking up on the music changes, and I was genuinely like, uh-oh, he might have a situation on his hands, because that Vigilante could be locked, loaded, ready, Proud Boys, ready to fight. Like, he could be ready to fight for his rights. What's gonna happen?
Hello? What the fuck? Who are you? Why are you here?
He's so excited.
Dude, hold on.
Because he's like, that's how I would answer.
It's me. I'm you from another dimension. My keys work to get in here. Are you fucking kidding me? No! Holy shit! Hey! Oh, we Spider-Man meme! Hey!
That's my favorite. That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
That's what you would do.
Being like, bro, I want to. No, I think I would lose it, because I'd be like, no, I don't want to be the one who discovers other dimension in this world. But Vigilante kept saying, I want to find myself, and everyone's like, that sounds like a terrible idea, because you're already too much for us. So the idea of the second you is terrifying. We don't know anything about him. And it turns out he finds himself, and you know what they say, you know yourself best, because his reproach is amazing. And his Vigilante loving him, them doing the Spider-Man meme, it gave me joy. It genuinely gave me joy. And I was like, okay, we have an ally in this universe. Because again, Brandon has already gotten in my head and telling me something's wrong. Because I will say, had you not warned me, I would not have seen this come. Like, it would have been a bigger reveal for me, because I wasn't.
I ruined it.
You just warned me, because I wasn't picking. Like I said, I wasn't picking up on it. But it's because I don't even know to look for these things. Like, I don't know that there's even an Earth out there that has to do with like the actual World War II narrative, right? So anyway, that made me genuinely happy that he had his moment and he knew himself. They're being silly. So we'll cut back to them, because Vigilante, them doing this is very interesting. Oh, I said Vig meets Vig in my notes, and they're having the best time in their This is a cackle. This is a kiki. If you ever heard that term, I was like, I wonder what that means in AAVE. They are kikiing. They are having a good old time. So, sorry guys, I don't know what I ate, but every time I look away, I'm burping. I am burping. So sorry about that. So Adebayo and Economos find Eagly in the kitchen. That he does a screech, his Eagly screech, and I almost did it, but I was like, that's not necessary. He's trying to get baloney. So we know Eagly he's still A1. He's still our Eagly. They haven't converted him yet. They decided to clean him after him because there's nothing else to do. Back on our Earth, RJS, RFS, Rick Flag Sr. I just say Rick Flag Sr. because I keep messing the letters up. He's in Louisiana. Dun dun dun. Who's he visiting? So I told you that internet was going crazy about Peacemaker. And I told you I wanted to record Peacemaker before I recorded Gen V, because I had to get off the internet because I didn't have a chance to watch this until I actually watched it today for the first time. And so I was like, I couldn't look at threads because people kept saying, "Oh my God, the special guest! Oh my God, this ties this into blah blah blah," and I was just like, I didn't know who it was, and I started thinking, okay, it's not Superman, it's not nobody in Justice Gang. I was like, it could be somebody they're going to premiere coming up. It could be somebody from Suicide Squad. Like I was like, I just didn't know. Of all the people it was, I didn't guess that. But now that you reminded me who was in Superman, I did. But I actually didn't even think about like, oh, it could be the Superman thing. I thought it was like something related to Justice Gang or I thought for a second I saw something and I was like, oh, you're overthinking it. But I saw somebody suited and I was like, is that Homelander? And I was like, no, these are not the same universes. So I was like, I'm just turning this off. I was like, I just don't want to guess anymore. And it turns out that the special guest who ties this into other parts of the James Gunn DCU is Lex Luthor. He's using a cane. I guess he got beat up when they were
No, he got his ass whipped by Superman up there. He threw him. I mean, not Superman, Crypto. Remember Crypto dragged his ass through that fucking thing and slammed him on the ground and shit?
Yeah, everybody loved Crypto for that.
When he was 1A!
Oh,
1A!
Yeah.
1A!
B19. He's like, I got you, Spider-Man. He's like, nah, my dog is a rescue. Okay. By the way, Lex Luthor's
apparently that's a meme. Like you probably seen this because you're in that space, but apparently that's like a meme on like TikTok and threads and stuff of like people are saying when someone gets their ass whipped is 1A, like because 1A was telling him to punch Superman over and over again. 1A. So now I see people doing like videos when someone's getting beat up and they're playing that clip over it, like in
that's funny.
1A.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
You know, my algorithm, this is why the Peacemaker was getting to me, because I don't have a lot of DCU algorithm. So like the fact that it was coming to my feed, I was like, oh, this people are talking about this. People are excited about this. People are loving Peacemaker as much as I am, but I'm gonna look out for it. I'm also not on TikTok, surprisingly. TikTok is just like, oh, you can spend time on TikTok. Although I do probably spend the same time on Reels. So yeah, I was like, oh, he already knows who RFS is, and then you just explain why. So last time he saw Frank or Rick Flag Sr. Frank is the actor's name if you haven't caught why we call him that. He said the metahumans weren't a threat, and he's like, but now we have Justice Gang and Superman determining international politics. Mind you, Lex is just mad because he wanted to determine international politics and name a place after himself, but whatever. Then he says, meanwhile, and this is when I ask questions like, is James Gunn just getting a lot of stuff out of his system right now? Because he says, oh, you said metahumans weren't a threat. Meanwhile, a bear-sized man with dragon skin is boofing a glowing twink with cartoon eyes in the cell next to me for the next 265 years.
Yeah, because he's in a prison with other metahumans.
Meta.
Yeah.
Right. But my thing is this.
That could have been Killer Croc, who I explained to you last week. I'm sure
it is.
Because Killer Croc
Killer Croc, he had the boondoggle?
No, we saw Killer Croc in Suicide Squad. And he got locked up in Belle Reve, I believe.
Oh, it probably was. I mean, it makes sense. It's canon. I know whoever's talking about is canon. It's just like, all I'm telling you is there's different ways to describe the sentence he's saying. Yeah. And so the James Gunn of it all is very interesting. His writing is very like, he's had a lot to say for a while. He just wants to be, you can tell that he knows what genre this is for. He says, I did everything. Oh, almost. So by the way, if I'm not burping, I'm snorting because I'm so congested. I'm just falling apart over here. So this is why I don't host, because too much talking lets on my flaws show. So he says, I did everything I could to eradicate the human blight of metahumans. And the judge has him in there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so he's like, whatever you want.
Years to be exact.
Yep. He goes, whatever you want it, just start with your final offer. You can't outmaneuver me, just say it. And he goes, well, and he's wondering like, why do you care about this Peacemaker person if he's not meta? He says being goofy is no threat. And Frank is like, well, I need your help because there's this portal out there. It's important. I don't need another rift tearing the city apart because you remember how you did that. And Lex is like, well, low key, I got a scanner, but you gonna let me out? You gonna free Lex till it's Lex free? And he's like, hell no. But he says, okay, well then what is the US government willing to give me to stop this clown? And he says an opportunity for redemption. So I guess
Lex is like,
maybe,
so you
like,
gonna let me out, right? And Rick Flag was like, hey, what?
no way.
I don't want to stop it that bad. You kidding me?
Yeah,
That shit
no
was
way, no way.
funny.
But I don't think the rift is not a big deal. I just don't know still like what Frank knows that we don't know. So anyway, Lex Luthor, now we know
Well, the
he's
rift
back in the game.
destroyed. I mean, it could have completely wiped Metropolis off the face of the earth. So Argus
Right, but
and the government
but
is
for a
like
fact they
really
know.
hell bent on these, even though they think all portals could do that. So I do understand why they're super concerned about this.
No, I do too, but like it's clear that there's differences in the type of portals
Yeah.
and the stability of the portals or whatever. So like, you know,
Well,
I'm not
that
saying
portal
everybody
was
should get portals.
relatively stable in Superman until Lex destabilized it.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, are you saying we should regulate portals? I think we should.
That's
I
what.
think if you're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
tell me
what
that,
Argus is saying.
or you should make portals illegal. But either way, just because people can have free will doesn't mean everyone should have a portal and be able to use it however they want to. That's what I think you're saying.
That's what Rick Flag is saying.
Because you know what? Portals kill people, and people who make portals unstable kill people too.
Yeah, you sound like Rick Flag.
I sound like
Rick Flag.
And you get the metaphor I'm going for here.
And Waller.
But you get the metaphor I'm going for here.
Yeah, you sound like Rick Flag.
No, I mean out like in real life.
Yeah, you sound like Rick Flag.
This is why we should regulate portals, and the Congress should pass a ban of automatic portals. Okay, so he is there. So okay, we go back to now we're back in the alternate universe. Harcourt's like in a conference room because they're testing her clothes and tested her pee. I guess they have a lab right then and there, and they're like, all right, well, if it's just on your body, but you don't have it in, like, you're not carrying it, smuggling it, and it's not in your system, like, I don't know, I guess I'll give you a pass. And so clearly, Peacemaker's that guy because he gets one of the people to like break protocol and let him sit in the room with her, and they quickly talk about the letter and him forgiving, and he's like, well, at least I forgave you. I gave you a heartfelt letter and I forgave you for betraying me. And she's like, why would I betray you? You know I didn't betray you, and the fact that you think I did actually hurts my feelings since you brought it up.
Okay.
And
Mhm. I did not know that Jennifer Holland had this in her. I did not know she had this in her.
With the little fake tears.
She was acting really well. Like really, like it was so it was really like this was like really good acting to me because it was clear that she's a toxic person that's not in touch with her feelings, but she's in her feelings. So like the how a toxic person not in touch in their feelings that's in their feelings would act was like on the nose perfect. Like you could see it like in her whole body language and face and everything. Like she's fighting it back. She's trying to put on this front, but she can't hold the front. So the front is breaking down and her emotions is coming through, but she's still trying to suppress it at the same time. I didn't know she had this in her. I never looked at her as like a great actress, but I thought she was great in this scene.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know this lady, but I think the fact that whenever somebody plays a multiverse character and you can tell the difference, I think that's kudos because like you really are yourself most of the places that you go. So like if in temperament, body language, I know dress is like obviously costume is one thing, but sometimes like her other self just does not seem like her. I think like she's doing her thing in this character. Because when they say she's toxically masculine, I'm like, yep. I see that. So anyway, they're in this little conference room and they finally get their time to have their day in court. They're gonna have their conversation. And he says, I'm sorry that I thought you would betray me. He's like, how many times do you want me to say it? And she says, at least twice. And so he's like, well, why were you covered in cocaine, by the way? And she says, well, we were in Vigilante's basement, which is like Al Capone's. And he goes, oh, I've never been, but I've heard about it. Mind you, who did he hear about Vigilante's basement from? Who do they have in common? Like, who are the, you know what I'm saying? Who are the other people that have been in Vigilante's basement? He goes, a lot of Beanie Babies.
Oh, he's probably heard of Vigilante talking about it.
Oh, that's a
What's wrong with
And he
you?
made it seem like he heard it from like through the grapevine that there's a lot of Beanie Babies. That makes sense. So he's like, why the hell are you here? Because he only knows about her being here, and she's like, we're all here to get you back. This isn't where you belong. Because she had said before, why can't he trust the wisdom of the universe? Which is probably what Adebayo said in that previous episode, almost exactly. And if that's not what Adebayo said, that's what I said in the episode. So he's like, well, I tried to warn you, talk to you about it in the park, but she was like, you want to have a heart to heart while they were like sniper rifles trained at your head. And he's like, all right, well then tell me just how you feel about what happened on the boat. New theory, they did not have sex on the boat.
They clearly had sex on the boat.
I think something actually heartfelt happened on the boat. I think they actually like look into each other's eyes or something. Like I think when we actually find out what it was, it's going to be something a little bit more intimate than that. Just because of how he keeps asking about it and he keeps not saying sex. That's what I'm thinking. He asked about Rick Flag Jr. He's like, this whole time I've been trying to get close to somebody whose boyfriend I killed. And she's like, it's not my boyfriend, but yeah. I made my disdain apparent for you when we first met, which is true. And then they start to get to a point of like, they're reaching a place of understanding though, where it's like, okay, you acknowledge that I would never try to actually kill you and get you locked up. Okay, great. You acknowledge that. Sorry. You know, I was honest when I first met you, even though I didn't tell you all the details, but you know now that I don't hate you. He's like, yeah. And then he's like, well, you know, I'm in love with you, Amelia. And she says, I know. And I wrote, okay, Han Solo. Like, what? She got that off, didn't she? That's a great reference. That's a verbatim reference. Can you please look and see all that Star Wars merch you have behind you and tell me that's not the best callback? Are you about to play me right now?
It was fine.
That's exactly what he says when he gets an I love you. Tell me another movie where they said I love you, I know.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, I'll wait. All right, well, you come back to the next episode with it because that was a good one. Just tell me the truth. Do you have feelings about me or not? And she's walking around it, like you said. By this point, she has tears in her eyes. And she asked a great question. She's like, are you going to stay if I say I don't and return if I do? I'm like, yeah, that's fair. Like, you're putting all of, like, your literal existence in the universe you were born in based on if I like you back or not, which is actually a lot to ask. Like when he came in the park, I understood what he was saying and why, but now that she's here saying this, I do understand that that's a lot to ask. And she says, I don't have access to my feelings like you do, which again, when we think about who we thought John Cena, that's where I'm getting John from, who we thought Chris was. We didn't think Chris would have this range and these emotions, whatever, because he was a dickhead. And now we've gotten to know him more, and we realize the fact he's even able to say I love you is a lot of growth for this character from when we saw him, a whole season and a half ago. And she says, okay, fine, you're fucking right. I get into fights so I can feel something. He's like, I know, and I still love you. And that makes her cry more. And she still has trouble answering his question, which here's my thing that I don't like on a real tip. If you don't like him, say it.
But she clearly
does.
But
I guess she already said no. Actually, I think about it now, she already said no.
Yeah, but she clearly does.
That's what I'm saying. But this is when you're gonna lose me, sis. Stop doing this. Stop doing this.
But she's toxic. So she can't right. come to grips with that. It's fucking with her.
Yeah. And also, he's the best she's gonna get.
I don't know. She did have Rick Flag Jr. He was better than Peacemaker.
And he's gone. And he was cheating on his girlfriend.
I mean, that wasn't really his girlfriend. He was cheating on his
girlfriend, and he committed treason against his government. He disobeyed a direct order.
Oh, now that's where you're going. Okay, so you're Team Waller.
So okay. I'm not Team Waller. I just think no, Rick Flag was cool, but he was.
I cannot wait till we review Waller. I can't wait till we review Waller. I'm just joking. Because your allegiances are going to be put to a test. I'm just
joking.
No, so ain't no joke.
She says, well, are you coming back or not? And he says, I can't. My dad, my brother, also the you here in this universe is very nice. And she's like, wow. They come back and they say, oh, Harcourt, you can go free. Your blood's negative, which I was like, that's the quickest cocaine blood test ever in my life. And so we go back to our Earth where Cy Bordeaux is outside waiting for Frank / RFS to leave the visit with Lex Luthor, and we find out that they're transferring Lex to Van Cole, which if anyone has all the wiki on the different DC universe prisons. Let us know what that one's known for. And now they're partnering with Lex Luthor moving forward. So he's going to get his scanner there. So we know eventually they're going to find them in Vigilante's house, which is okay, whatever. Okay, then we get to like the end of the last act of the episode. I am, man, boy oh boy. So if you had put your parlay on what this universe was, here you go. They finally gave it to us. And I think we predicted that because we were finally getting our whole crew there. So it's Vig on Vig, and they're going back and forth quizzing each other about what their favorite thing is. And we're finding out that they actually are the same person, which is interesting because I'm gonna tell you something. There's something to be said about like how people will be who they're going to be regardless of what society or legal ramifications are, right? Because there are people who refuse to participate in certain stuff during slavery. There are people who refuse to participate in certain stuff during Jim Crow, which, mind you, was not that long ago. And then there are people who refuse to do stuff now and be like discriminatory, right? Those are people who in any font, any format are going to be the same person. It's so interesting that Vigilante in this universe is on the side of right. And he has the argument about like growing up in this home, in this environment to make him that way. But the Vigilante in our world is choosing to be, is like not even choosing. He's just like on another level of doing things wrong and like
he's not wrong. Vigilante is not
No.
bad guy.
I mean wrong in like in the killing the Johns. He does kill people. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah, but he's not a bad guy. Vigilante is a anti-hero. He is
in a way. He
doesn't kill good people. He kills people he thinks is bad, but he thinks that you have to kill them and not just lock them up and let them come back out and do the same thing over again.
And so I'm going to give him, because he has a tinge, because if it's a gray area, I'm going to make it bad. But to make my argument, which is to say, like, it's so interesting that we think of our world as being this neutral world where people can turn out however they want to, which isn't true. Like, indoctrination is everywhere. But then we see in this world where indoctrination is extremely clear in one direction, and their vigilante turns out to be on the side of right. I just think that's,
but it's
like,
the same, but it depends what you say is right. Because you're saying our vigilante is not right because he kills people. This vigilante kills people too. He just kills the bad people. When we last saw the Sons of Liberty, they were blowing up a government building.
So what I'm telling you is, you're taking it seriously, but I'm saying in the sense that, like, if our vigilante in our world thinks that Johns who solicit sex deserve to die because they're doing something wrong, he's creating justice on a scale of like small things and like turning them into death penalties. I'm saying like he thinks that's wrong because in our world he's decided whatever, selling sex is bad because it's illegal. I'm not even talking about that as much as I'm saying it's interesting how our vigilante is as a person, and then you put him in this other environment where he's the same person to be that way. But I think he's the same person, but it feels different because of the specific. He's not I think what I'm trying to say is more of a statement about the world and how similar they might actually be from one to the other in order for him to have like these nuances. But I as we see more about Vigilante, I'll come back to this point and be able to explain it better. So we see that they have a lot in common. I wrote down everything they said. What's the third scene you have? Is it this?
No, it's at the end.
So they're going back and forth. They're going, what's the best? So I don't even know which one's which at this point, by the way. So he's like, what's the best Pokemon? They say Infernape. When I tell you I have to look up Infernape, I tell you I've never heard of that before. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm saying. Either James Gunn is giving y'all random facts that he's always wanted to say, or this is Easter eggs for somebody else. It's like when I make a joke and only 7 people get it. That's what James Gunn is doing right now. What's the best thing to press your face against? Shag carpet. What's the worst thing to softly touch you? Human skin. They both shudder. What's the coolest thing about a platypus? And they say in unison, poisonous spike in the back of his ankle. Are you able to pee if something's touching your butt? No way. I look down upon people who can. And mind you, absolutely, I guess I can't do that, but that's just such a specific. We've heard him talk about that. Do you ever look up at the clouds and you see a face in the clouds looking down at you and you go, this isn't a figment of my imagination. That's a cloud man looking down at me. And now I have to go inside so he can't see me. And the other vigilante's reply is every day. What's your favorite color? Is your favorite color teal? Yes. Is your favorite food malto meal? Mind you, what? Yes. Does your hair look the best at 3 p.m.? Yes. Is your best friend Peacemaker? What? I dedicate my entire life to tearing down everything he stands for. He goes, huh? And he's like, you mean Chris P. Smith, Peacemaker? He's like, yeah. And they haven't obviously figured out there's any differences here yet. But Vigilante goes, he's why I joined the Sons of Liberty. So now we find out that Vigilante is a part of this group, which is, again, interesting because another way I was trying to say my point before is that there's things that Peacemaker and Vigilante agree on in our universe. So,
and I'm right. You can say, and you were right about that too. Remember, I said, remember when Chris went to save the people with Sons of Liberty from blowing the building?
Mm-hmm.
And I
you were
said,
like, they're probably in.
I said, what if the Sons of Liberty are the good people and they're fighting against that?
Listen, it's all one right. Okay, I'm not gonna keep giving you small tally points for right. Once everything you said about this is all one. Okay, you were right about this one thing, and it has other small things attached to it being right. Good job.
That's right.
So no, I mean, but that makes sense. Like but that's the point. Obviously, the mainstream would argue, oh, you know what? This is too close to home. But basically, obviously, the bad guys will argue that the people who are against the bad guys are the bad guys, and they would even put out an executive order calling those bad guys, when the truth is the history has been that the main guys who think they're good guys are actually bad guys and have been bad guys for a long time. And people have been saying, hey, they're bad guys. And other people who profited from the bad guys are like, not so much bad guys. And now there's no such thing as bad guys anymore because the bad guys ruined it. So back at the reverse.
That's what we need. We need Uncle Sam.
In this instance, it would literally be Kid Rock. You don't want that Uncle Sam.
No. Uncle Sam.
This is a DC person.
Yes, Uncle Sam is a character in the DC universe who went to Earth X. He's a good guy. He went to Earth X to get rid of all the Nazis there. And he if you were to guess in your mind, right? If you were to make up in your mind what a superhero named Uncle Sam looks like, that's exactly what he looks like.
I mean, he better be dressed like if Abe Lincoln was a Harlem Globetrotter.
That's exact. Did you look him up?
I mean, I maybe I've seen him before, honestly, at this point, because
that's exactly what he looks like.
That's what it's giving.
I can't believe you just described that. That's exactly what he looks like.
I'm almost sure I've seen him because, like, now it's coming back to me in a weird way. It's like it's in there somewhere.
This is Uncle Sam.
That's 100% what he looked like in my dreams. Yep.
It's so exactly what you would think a superhero named Uncle Sam looks like is what he looks like. By the way,
your favorite intellectual, Dr. Umar, was online the other day.
No, Umar.
Oh, it's glitching. Okay, there we go. He was online the other day, and he was saying that Abraham Lincoln had some black in him. What are your thoughts?
I don't listen to Umar.
Okay, you hate history. Okay, so basically now we're gonna see a cut between all these characters as we wrap up this episode. So we go back to the reverse Peacemaker home and the Smith residence, and Adebayo is like, let's just go on a walk. We've been in the house all day, which, mind you, this is her one thing I wouldn't do is I wouldn't go walking in nobody's neighborhood. Like, I barely even walk when I'm at an Airbnb because I'm like, I don't know these people. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where I'm at. This could be a sundown town and I don't know it. So she goes, which is apropos to this, but this is also something to think about. And so she goes, let's just walk to clear ahead. And John, of course, is like, no, I don't want to. He's just a depressed friend. We get it. So he stays behind. He's finishing cleaning. Adebayo's walking up the street. She waves at a white lady who drives by, and the white lady tenses up, and she's like shaking. She's shaking in her boots. Her Uggs are smoking. She's losing it. And so she's like, that's weird. And Economos is eating an apple in the kitchen when August comes in. And I think he sees him pretty quickly because it'd be weird for August to be like this big, bad top trio guy and can't clock that somebody's in his kitchen. And then back at Argus on their universe, their Argus, their Harcourt comes in wearing her fucking silk in her skirt. And the security guard, I don't know if you noticed this, but the security guard was like scrolling, looking at owls, which I feel like is like a little call back to our vigilante. And Harcourt is like, hey, like, hey, Billy. And he's like, what? I've already seen you come in today. Our Harcourt mentions to our Chris, well, I guess there's only one Chris, everything is weird in this land. In the neighborhood, cars start screeching.
Hold on,
to a stop.
this is the scene I have. This is the scene I have.
You don't notice anything weird here?
No, like what?
So it's actually Keith. Keith sees Adebayo and screeches to a halt. The white lady screeches. She runs out her car. Her car is basically still going down the road. She's calling a neighbor.
I haven't seen a single person of color ever since I've been here.
No way.
And Chris is like, But that's because Chris doesn't have a good. Hold on, Chris is.
Yeah, because
Chris
Chris
is
is
just happy to be
so
there.
he's so enthralled to just have his daddy and his brother back. He's not paying attention to nothing else.
Saying. That's what type of time I was on. But what Keith gets out and screams when Keith gets out of his car.
A black!
What?
That's right. That's right.
He says one got out, a black. So then Chris is coming around the corner. We see a flag, and you know how like the little flags on pins, like they're kind of furled up, like because the flag is hanging. There's weight on the flag. So sometimes you can't see the stars. You could just see the stripes, but you see the blue, and you know there's stars there. So he grabs a little flag to test it, to check it out. And this is the sound. That's the sound of all the white people running out of their houses. They're literally, and I think was like, this was so funny, but it also like, bruh, there was genuinely there are people alive who genuinely lived during a time when we did this. This really happened. And I think that's the only thing that pisses me off as we talk about this, like, oh, this is a figment of our imagination. Like America was this racist. So anyway, Adebayo starts running as we see. Chris checks out the flag. And it has a swastika.
Fuck me.
Instead of 50 stars. Fair enough. So, and Harcourt sees a flag and says, oh, this is your perfect world, huh? We see that August throws a beer can at well, he's August in this world.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, well, just from the captions. Could be wrong. Augie, you know him as Augie from season 1, Chris's dad. It throws a can at Economos, grabs a knife, stabs him through the hand to pin him to the floor and goes, who are you? And Economos just monologues everything. He explains that he's here for Chris, who you think is Peacemaker, but he's not Peacemaker. Actually, he probably killed your son. Oops, I'm probably saying too much. Which, yes, like of course, Economos would do that, and that's probably what you would do on a mission, Brandon. You would just blab.
Yes.
Because remember you said his is your favorite. And then a song called Presence of Mind by Dynasty with a Z comes on. And that's when I was like, okay, this is an alternate world band. And then in Argus, right after that moment where he sees the flag, other Harcourt, reverse Harcourt comes in and points and goes, that woman isn't me. And also I was like, she's not down for the cause. Because I just feel like when you're a revolutionary, you're just a little bit less likely to get security involved. I could be crazy, but it wasn't giving. I feel like, because if you're a revolutionary, I'd be like, can I talk to you real quick? Who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? I'd ask some questions.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't be like, how do I know that's not me? What if that's a twin who looks like me? What if they've been, the secret project is they've been creating clones. Like there's so many questions you have to ask before you go straight to call the police. So that's why I was like, this is Karen behavior. She's not a double agent. I don't believe it. And the last thing we see is Adebayo booking it down this street in this suburb, and there are so many white people chasing her, and she's just screaming, oh shit. And I think what hit me is like, I don't know what I thought, but two things. One is because when Keith says, oh no, one got out, that means they're keeping the black people somewhere, not that the black people went somewhere voluntarily.
Yes.
And two, it's actually starting to be like, I'm not gonna have any fun. Like we have never been far enough ahead and progressive enough in history to make fun of this time period as if it's such a far cry from reality, especially right now. So it's just stressing me out that like, how are they going to visualize this in a way that doesn't depress me? That's what I'm thinking about. But though that's the end of my notes. What are your thoughts on this whole episode? Oh, and do we have time for superlatives?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It was my favorite episode of the series. Thought it was great. And we got 2 episodes left. Next week's the penultimate. So they're gonna close it with a bang. And I'm excited to see what happens. But we do have time for the superlatives. So let's
I did have a good
see
time.
who has been the messiest host.
Stop letting the messy hoes mess with your business.
Who was messy,
Wow.
Chanel?
Keith. Fully Keith.
Why?
Because Keith didn't have to honk his horn like that. He didn't have to scream and get the whole neighborhood activated. You're a whole superhero. You could have walked up to her and dealt with this in your own way. You didn't have to involve a mob. Also, Harcourt is showing clear signs that something's going on. She's just like, silly rabbit. You're just a woman. So yeah, keep the messy one for me. What about for you?
It's obviously Chris. He's fucking the other hardcore while still in love with his hardcore.
Hey, he's not there. We don't know that they had sex on that boat. So until it proves it, you take that back.
No, I know.
We had all these twists and turns, and you can't conceive that they had like a nice intimate night.
Yeah, I can't conceive that.
All right,
I don't think
well,
they
this
were
is a real
smooth.
bet then. Then I guess we got a real bet going.
The next
I think that Harcourt would not. Harcourt, the idea of just like she's a toxically masculine chick, she'd be texting him to come over at 1 a.m.
Fair.
If that's what they did.
The next
You got knocked the fuck out, man.
Who caught a fade, Chanel?
Honestly, at the very end there, Economos caught that fade because
Yes.
a blade through the hand is crazy. I started thinking immediately, like, can he type?
It's gonna hurt pretty badly.
He needs to be able to type, bro. That's his livelihood. He really needs that blood money now. He needs that Al Capone money bad. He got to go on FMLA. Like, nah. Ain't they about to fire his ass? Nah. He was definitely the one who. And let me tell you something. Adebayo better. I pray she been training, because that's a run that, like, I like to think it's like you look at stuff like The Long Walk and you're like, I like to think I would survive. Yeah, it's like you like to think, oh, I like to think I would survive if I had to. Like, it would just kick in that instinct. But like at some point, your shit gonna cramp up. So I'm really like, she's pre-fade.
And the last superlative.
I've been dealing drugs ever since I was 12 years old. See, I didn't have the chances that you have, Miss Hawkins.
Who had the best speech this episode?
I'll take back best speech and more say the best dialogue, and I'd say it was a tie. It was a tie between when Chris and Harcourt finally talked it out or talked about it to an extent, and when Vigilante interviewed himself. Those are my two favorite dialogue moments.
It was Vigilante interviewing himself for me. That was so.
Maybe the best
funny.
monologue would have been Vigilante's mom.
She was annoying.
Her talk about hardcore was good. Yeah, no, that was very funny. They gave us they make Vigilante such an annoying character to pay us off in moments like this where you're like, oh, by himself he's actually quite hilarious. But when you see him out of the vacuum and with other people, you're like, oh, if Vigilante was around me, I would want to hurt him. But like seeing him on screen, I'm like, okay, I get it. So we're gonna see how one thing I'm going to be curious about is how our Vigilante responds to learning about things. I'm hoping that he just quickly hops to it and is like on the right page, which I'm sure he will be. Economos is already ready to go, to be fair. But I could see, I'm going to tell you this right now. I could see if they were like, hey, Economos, we're not going to bother you. We're just going to put you on disability and you can have a house. He might stay back. He might hate it, but I feel like Economos would be like, look, guys, they like me here. I could see that happening. I'm not saying it will. And then, but I will tell you this, because you don't ever be looking at the things. Are you worried about their fate? What are you worried about with this ending of this episode?
I'm not worried. I think that Vigilante is going to get the down low and everything. They're already going to find out, but he's going to fill in all the details. Our Chris is going to turn to figure it out, and it's going to be interesting to see if my buddy is right about Harcourt and she's not terrible over there. It's going to maybe really put him in a dilemma. So I'm interested to see what that happens. If she is terrible, it'll make it much easier for her to leave.
So here's the thing. I watched the end. Watched the end. So one thing they had is I realized every episode they're giving us like a half a clip of a scene to like tide us over. Like they're giving us like bloopers. And so this one was Harcourt talking more about the snow globe and how she enjoyed Peacemaker's mom. And Keith is like, well, our mom's been dead since he was 2. And she's like, oh yeah, she's a ghost. So there's this like random outtake from that conversation. And then they show what happens next episode. And I can tell you that the team at least makes it back to the quantum co-working space. Now, what happens after that? No idea, but I was relieved to see that nobody gets killed there. I don't know about Judo Master, no word on him yet. But I do not want to see this be anything where, like, you know, there's other shows where they might have left behind Adebayo and she gets locked up and they can't do anything. That's not what I want to see here. I didn't come for that. So I'm just relieved to see that's not what's going to happen, because I did genuinely get concerned when I was like, oh, like they're going to grab her and do something to her. And I don't want that to actually be a very real thing that happens. So we're going to see what happens there, but they do make their retreat. And then there's a scene they show of Peacemaker with our Harcourt on the Peacemobile, and the other two in the top trio, I don't know what they call Keith, but Keith and the dad come down and they're like about to go after him. So I think Chris definitely gets revealed for who he is, and they have some type of dialogue about it, but I think he's trying to get his Harcourt back, and so that'll bring him back. And I think good news is he got the information he needed to know, like, he won't have any more lingering doubts about what would have happened had he stayed in that universe. So at least, you know, it's like when you think you're in love with a man and he leaves and he's just too good to be true and you miss the potential, and then you find out later, like, oh, he had a baby on the way at that moment that he was telling you he wanted to marry you. And it's like, okay, finally I got the proof I needed to know that actually this wasn't good for me. But in my head, potentially I was walking away from the best thing and I'm being dumb and I'm going to leave something that's good for me. So he definitely had his moment where he realized that, oh, they're not shit. I might as well stay with the rivers and lakes I'm used to.
Well, I didn't watch anything in the future, so I'm not going to be spoiled.
Says the man who told me about Earth X and the Sons of Liberty, because you've
I
already
can't
read all
help
the
that
comics.
I can't help that I'm aware and I pay attention to the stuff that we watch.
Well, I think that going and searching Peacemaker something is the same as reading about it.
No, this is,
I think
I'm
you're
just
getting
looking at what
theories from
other people say.
But you're getting theories from educated people who've maybe read this. Is Peacemaker canon? Is there Peacemaker comic books?
Peacemaker is in the comics, but he's nothing like this character.
I'm just saying there's people who know enough about DCU to start to give you some theories. So just letting you know, you might be cheating a little bit. Anyway, this was me taking notes. I used to do it all the time when we did House of Dragon and shit. I did not enjoy it. I want to go back to the way things are because it was a lot of talking. What does that mean?
Nothing. I'll just say I'm not surprised.
I don't know. I think that means something.
That doesn't mean anything. You wanted to mean something.
Okay. How did you think I did?
Excellent. I thought you did a great job.
It's too much talking. It's just constantly talking.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I'm good. I'd rather just interrupt you. So, but anyway, that I proved I could do it.
And you got to watch the episode multiple times.
Well, yeah. I mean, but so here's a problem for me then, ADHD. If I can, I do agree you have to watch it multiple times, but if I watch it right before we get on here, that's when you get me at my best, because I don't have anything in between that in my brain. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, thank you, Brandon, for always holding down the notes. It is not my favorite part, but I do love talking about this show and learning more about DCU and what to expect and all the context. I'm really enjoying Peacemaker. I'm sure I won't hate Gen V, but like Peacemaker, I think it's really because I'm a John Cena stan. That's
also,
what it truly
Gen V is very on the nose.
Yeah, so we're gonna see. Like, I mean, everything right now is, the thing is, if this is just like the ongoing type of political battles that make good stories, everything's going to end up being on the nose when the shit starts happening in real life. You know what I'm saying? And it starts going in one particular direction. So like, yeah, like it's kind of like how Andor was about resisting, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah,
look
but
at this.
Andor
This is
was a
relevant.
lot more tactful. And I love Gen V
Oh,
and
I
the
agree.
boys, but Andor was a lot
No,
more
I agree.
tactful in that than Gen V is like on the nose.
I mean, I agree, but like that's what they said about the last season of The Boys, because it's like the
It
thing
was.
is it's on the nose because of how extreme reality is right now. I think that's what it is. Like it's on the nose because like we don't have nowhere else to go but the nose at this point. Like nothing else is happening on the rest of the face, you know. We'll see. I'll tell you my thoughts when we record about it sometime this week. Thank you guys for being here with us. If you are curious, you can look in the show notes for any of the information about our social media. But we said at the beginning, we'll say it again. You can email us at any time at we was watching podcast at gmail.com. We're at We Was Watching across all the socials. Brandon's personal and my personal IGs are in there if you want to follow us. We try to announce across the socials, including Blue Sky, when we're going to stream, but you can kind of count on a weekend stream, so good for you. And then there's going to be a weekday stream as long as we're doing 2 shows. We still owe you guys Chief of War. That will happen eventually. We still owe you Brandon going to go see Weapons. I don't know what's going on with him. And now we owe you also him going to see him.
Yes.
Before you hear from me again, I should have seen One Battle After Another, so we'll have my review on that. And we have had a blast talking to you guys about this Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 6. Please like and subscribe to the show. It really helps. We finally got to 345 subscribers. Let's push to 350. Then from there, let's push to 500. Come to find out, 500 just means we have new community features and we're not even monetized yet, but it's okay. We're going to keep working because I've seen channels grow and all you got to do is keep asking. So please share this and just sign in from all your different Google accounts and subscribe. Even that helps. Let's see. Spotify, shout out to you guys. I don't think I see any comments, but if you do want us to read your comment directly on the show, we will. Just send it straight to us. Yep. Okay. See, I'm genuinely making an effort to make sure I don't miss anyone's comments, and I think we're good. So this has been a blast. Thanks, Brandon, for being my what do they call the what's the dude that be talking to Colbert? Being my Deftones. What's this man's name? What's Colbert's guy? Who has a guy? Doesn't Kimmel have a guy?
I have no idea.
Kimmel's guy. By the way, I don't even want to. I'm not even Guillermo. Thanks for being my Guillermo.
Okay. I'll take it.
His guy's Guillermo. I think that's all we say at the end, right? Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you are watching us after the fact, type a comment. We'd love to know what we could do better in the show, why you watch the show, anything like that, what you're looking forward to in Peacemaker. We got 2 more episodes. It's been a fun ride. And until